Yep.
It's noon.
Yeah.
All right. Gonna send it. What's up, everybody? Here we are. Oh no, what happened to my camera? I guess I need to bring my camera back up before that will work. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the first episode of Critique by Finsweet. We've got a action-packed event for you today. There's so much actually that's going to go on. We're going to explain everything about how it works, how you will get involved, because part of this is not just us scoring and reviewing these sites. A lot of it has to do with you all getting involved and sharing your thoughts and kind of getting into that whole mix with us. And so before we introduce the judges and have Joe kind of go through and introduce our two Finsweet judges, we're going to explain a little bit about how it's all going to work.
Okay, so here's how it works. Each week, the Webflow community will submit websites for us to critique. Members of the Finsweet team, along with guest judges, will get 5 minutes to review each selected site live on air. The judges, along with members of the audience, will then have 45 seconds to submit their scores before we reveal the overall rating for each website and share our final thoughts. Welcome to Critique by Finsweet.
Okay. All right. So,
Nice.
let's start it here. That's how it's going to work. Let's share the link. Actually, Joe, while you introduce Kai and Sergey, and maybe you could introduce me too and yourself. I don't know. Just run through the whole gamut here.
Sure.
But I'm going to share the link for people to vote, and we'll go from there.
Great. Okay. My name is Joe Krug. I am the founder of Finsweet. I am joined by Reimar, who you just heard speak. He's our CMO. He is taking control of our community efforts, and that's what this show is all about. We have Sergey and Kai as guest judges. They are guests from the Finsweet team. These are Finsweet designers. They work with our biggest clients, enterprise level, designer, Webflow developers. These guys are the real deal. So we're all going to be working together to critique websites. And I'm excited for this one. This is a new thing for us, first episode. And I think this one's going to be a success.
Yep. And as you can see, the judges have the ability to add little emotes, on the screen as they're reviewing the sites. And so as we walk through some of these sites, we'll be able to kind of have a little bit of interaction from the judges there. I gave you a thumbs down, Joe, just to show off the functionality.
Yeah, thank you.
I was just talking and clicking buttons, so that's part of the streaming and producing all at once. But let's get into this. So what we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna pull up the first website, which is this craft.do, which we've got loaded right here. Let's start that interaction. Let's put the 5 minutes up on the clock, and let's see who's gonna walk us through this one. Right, we've all taken a look at these. So if you would like to check it in the on your end, we can share that. Maybe Rohan or somebody can share that in the chat. But what we're going to do is just walk you through the sites and share what we like and what we don't. So who's got the first thoughts on this one? Sergey?
Yeah, I have suggested to review this website. I think it's really beautiful. So the typography and the way they present what it is, it's clear right when you just open the website. It is awesome. And this little animation, like typing animation, looking awesome. It exactly shows me the experience that I get from this product. I really love this. And the elements are not far from each other. This is really cool. So it's really engaging me to scroll down, even without those clues in the middle of the screen. Like always, you see scroll down. You don't need it. It's just engaging you to scroll down and explore. And I really love those products overview videos here.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
And it reminds me Apple products.
Okay. I don't know if I get Apple from
colors.
This.
Well, maybe you're getting the Apple feel because it's for an Apple product and they've clearly designed for Mac and for iOS. I'm getting really nice feelings about the colors here. This is great. My first view is colorful, exciting, bright. We see all of these wonderful colors and these different colored headings totally loving it. It feels like a very complex brand in a sense that they can really pivot anywhere with this color scheme. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Super clear, super fresh, and very modern.
It does feel light and airy. So I do think that's a plus. I do like, okay, it looks like we've popped maybe off the main site here into careers. But yeah, I do like the general feel of the site. Very clean, very open, airy, easy to navigate. The messaging is simple. I'm not a big QR code person, but I do think this is an interesting play on the screen, you know, because I think it's easy to pull your phone out and just, you know, boom, you got a link right to the app there instead of texting yourself something or giving somebody a cell phone number. And so part of me likes that.
That's probably a mobile dedicated application. So that's why they have this feature right in the corner.
Yeah. Well, and I like that as a general CTA. So I don't know. I don't think that's a bad idea. We reviewed one the other day that had, you know, it was like claiming to be software, but it didn't have anything that showed the software actually working. And so I like that they're actually showing the software in play here. And so you can actually see like, oh, this exists. This is a real thing. And so that I think is a big plus for anybody out there who's watching, that showing people is better than telling people every single time, even on the web.
Yeah, and you know what? I know exactly why I have this like Apple feeling. So that's because they have squares and rectangles like apps. You know, this is exactly this Apple style when they have boxes, and inside of the box you have a content, and some of the graphic is, you know, like inside of this box. So this is like Apple style, and probably that's exactly what they want to show users, that this is for your Apple, for your iPhone, right? So this is like Apple application.
Yeah. And their headlines are very clear, you know, create structured and linked content easily. I do like Joe was saying, the different colored headlines here. And again, you're showing off the software. And so it's very clear. It's very, the story is clean. Like this is what you would aspire, I think, to a SaaS style website. You know, this is a good place for us to start. Anything different, or should we go ahead and get the score ready for this? We don't need to use the full 5 minutes if we don't want. Anybody else got anything, other thoughts to share?
Well, I'd just like to say hello and thanks for the nice introduction, Joe. And yeah, I think you've said it all. Yeah, it's really nice. What I'm particularly drawn to is that nice script going out. It's not a script, sorry, but the way what's it called? The typing effect.
Here?
Yeah, typing effect with the little emoji person.
That's pretty unique. Cool. Yeah, I like that.
And again, they're referencing the software. I bet in the software, when you put your cursor, it shows you an emoji. So I've seen this effect a lot of times, but just adding that little flasher with a little response from "this is perfect," right? It's like, oh, I'm actually seeing again what the software is doing in real time here. So, okay, 5 minutes is up.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat.
Yeah. Okay, so judges, Rohan, go ahead and share that form. Let's make sure that its critique form is opened. I'll go ahead and open that up. The form has been shared. It's pinned in the chat. Let's go ahead and put 45 seconds on the board. Judges, it's time to submit your votes. All right, so while this is happening, audience, this is your opportunity to also share and participate in the scoring. The scoreboard should be, let's see, if it's not open for you, go ahead and refresh the page. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that in the comments for everyone. Boom. Go ahead and cast your scores, and we'll extend this maybe just another couple seconds if you all need some time, because it is the first time. But let's go ahead and get some scores in here for me. So we're looking for overall design aesthetic, the storyline, the content itself. Flair is interactions and things like that. So let's tie these back. And let's get the final score there. Okay, so we've got the scores in. We've got the judges in-house here. Let's see who... We never really decided how we were going to do this. Should we start from the lowest score to the highest?
You can show like lowest
Sure.
and highest as well.
Yeah, we can only show one at a time. So let's go ahead. I'll start because I did score at the lowest, so I will show my score first here. Let's go ahead and show a 7.5. Joe scored it next at an 8.0. So then from there we go to Kai, progressively higher at 8.25, and Sergey liked it the most with a 10 on usability at 8.75, which gives us a judge's average score of 8.13. And let's see what the crowd had to say about that. How does that match up for us? The crowd was 7.67, and so it's pretty close. So judge's average was 8.13, crowd score. What did we gave it a little bit more on the usability side. So the judge's average, that's where we're peaking, just a little bit over the crowd, but everything else is pretty close for a combined score of 8.03 for the craft.do domain. Okay, so that's the first one in the tank. Good job, Craft.
Wow, yeah.
Nice.
That's a good score.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the scores down. Let's get the next website loaded up, which is going to be this Vos Church. And we will share that in the YouTube chat for the folks. Boom. So you guys can follow along at home. And okay, let's get 5 minutes on the clock. Who's walking through this one? Joe, you want to start this one?
I will, sure. First glance, I am loving this big text. I'm loving this big video that I want to click on with the section behind it. That section break behind the video, it's really coming out at me. I have a lot of call to actions here if I want to go to social. And as I keep scrolling down, this looks super modern. If they are trying to market to the younger community, this is a cool site. I mean, look at some of these rotation effects on the hands, on the text. Big text,
nice.
really clear. People don't want to read that much. So, they're just making it look cool, making it feel cool, and throwing some big keywords out. And that is really how you get people's attention. So I'm really liking this. I think this is a really clean site and really good for what it's doing.
Yeah. Kai, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I really like the boldness of the fonts, the quality of the video, which just looks super high, HD for a web video. That's pretty impressive. And then, the menu's really nice as well. Just one comment on the menu. There seems to be a little bit of horizontal scroll when the menu opens. I don't know if anyone else is getting that, but that might be an overflow or just on the menu element.
The
Right,
scroll
yeah, I can see it.
overflow is
But
like
I really like the
something-
way the text flies in on the menu. That's really funky. And I like the values section, the drag to slide across. Maybe
That's
it's
on
a
the
little bit
homepage,
distracting with the image behind it, but I just like the feel of how that works. The values,
right? The
Very
section
nice.
here is what you're talking about.
and I like the way that they've paid attention to the font. It's not just a font; they've tried to add a little bit more. It's really nice. I mean, for
It seems like everything about the site-
website, it's badass.
Yeah, everything about this, like even
Man,
this gives
I
me like
agree.
a little Netflix vibe, gives me some little like like I kind of want to dig in and see what these are about, even though I have no interest in watching your sermons. Right? It's very visually appealing. So Sergey, what were you saying there? Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is a beautiful website. And one of the coolest things as well that I noticed on my big screen, it takes, like a lot of space and in a good way. It means that it's like flexible, responsive.
Yeah.
Fonts are also responsive, and you can feel like, it takes so much space, and, I'm not focusing on tiny part like it's always using for SaaS websites. So this could be submitted on awards and get an award.
Yeah.
And I'm not really in charge, but man, I want to go there. I want to join those people. And,
We're getting
this
some
is
good.
really cool.
We're getting some good from the
all
crowds here
been
too.
converted.
Bailey Simrel is saying awesome brutalist, utilitarian, minimalist art direction. Awesome play on the grid too. Susan McPhee is saying, I like how the text changes color when overlapping. Love this black and white. Magdalena, what's up, everyone? Welcome. Is this a church? Wow, definitely not Catholic. Pablo, that's right. So there's Pixel Geek in the house. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thanks if you're joining us from the F and Growth podcast or just from the community. Thanks for joining us here. We got a minute left. So what else? Any other thoughts about this Voss Church website before we pull up the scoring process?
Man, if you just go to another page like sermons, this is beautiful page. It's like just the content, but so engaging, and like all those awesome thumbnails. If they design all the thumbnails themselves, it's really cool. Like different styles, you know, typography. It's taking a lot of attention here. So this is really cool. All the illustrations on the back. Wow, man.
Yeah. That's a really good spot, Sergey. It makes so much difference, doesn't it, having those really well put together thumbnails?
Well, that's what I was saying. This
those thumbnails, they all different, but somehow they kind of like, you can feel the style. You can feel it's coming from this website.
It's got this like Netflixy vibe, or this like Hulu vibe, where again, it feels like there are these different shows where I don't care to see these things, but I'm drawn in by the thumbnails. And so, okay. So
that's like today's top tip, isn't it?
Yeah,
standardized.
Everybody should know that Sergey makes our thumbnails. Sergey makes all the thumbnails for all of our YouTube videos. Whoa, so Sergey, you need to take take some of this inspiration here. I mean, this is
absolutely
it has really, really nice design. I agree with everything you said. So cool.
Yeah. Let's get to the scores. Hold up. We're the clock is done. So let's hang on. My computer is lagging here a little bit, but okay. Let's get the clock up. It's time to get the scores open. Audience, this is your time. Resubmit the form, and let's do that. 45 seconds starts now. I gotta clear the crowd scores from before.
The time flies, doesn't it?
It does fly.
Yeah, get those votes in.
Do not have much time to cast your votes. We're at 30 seconds now. So again, we're looking for overall design aesthetic, the story of the website, the flair. So that's interactivity and stickiness. And then the usability. How easy is it to get around on a website and explore that kind of thing.
Raymar, when you say stickiness, you mean stickiness in your head, not like a sticky section?
I guess I just mean like the site itself. Like, does it make you want to kind of hang out on the site? Does it make you want to be there? Does it make you want to keep crawling through
stickiness.
Yeah. So
I like that. It's not it's not a word I've used before. I'm going to use that.
So voting has closed. Let's go ahead and pull up. We'll start with, we had a tie amongst the judges between Joe and Kai. So different ways of getting there, but both of them scored it at 7.75. I was the top scorer, so Sergey gave it an 8.25. I gave it some big points for usability and the story because I felt it was compelling. I'm not a big church person, but I kind of wanted to dig in and dive deeper into some of that. And so gives it a judge's average of 8.06, and the crowd score is right on it here. So the crowd is right with us at 8.11.
Wow.
So this is a nice hit right here between the judges and the crowd for a combined total of 8.07 for the Voss Church home. So looking good. What's happening in the comments here? Let's see what people are saying in the comments. 9.1, 9.0. Geek, you're generous. I'd give it a solid 9. Oh, somebody's giving 10s. Okay, I give it all 10s. May I
10
know
already?
That's right. May I know how big Sergey's screen is? Sergey, somebody's asking how big your screen is.
So it's 3,840 pixels wide. Or you mean like inches? In inches? Yeah, it's big. It's like 31 inch or something like that.
34.
Yeah.
That's the size of my television.
Okay, so Moving on to the next one, we've got this beautiful stellar script, stellar skip grip.webflow.io. I have just shared the link into the YouTube chat. So let's go ahead and get 5 minutes on the clock. And Kai, you want to walk us through this one, or you want me to walk through this one?
Could you walk through this one? I haven't actually got it open. Sorry, my apologies.
Okay. No worries. So this is that Joe Moore design. This is Jonathan Marin, who is a super talented Webflow developer. Beautiful website right from the front. What we really found striking about this one was the graphics and the images are all custom, and they're all kind of centered, and it's this little long, beautiful scrolling story as you go down. And it really then gets compelling with, you know, the way the fonts come in, and these images are just super, like, I'm not sure what's happening, but I want to touch and see this texture, and I want to feel this product. And like, it's just, it's beautiful, you know, like everything about this, as you scroll through this website, it's like, what am I going to see next? And so a lot of times you see, you know, like stock images or even just some corny stuff, but not here. Everything is just clean, beautiful, and made for purpose. So who else got some thoughts about this stellar site here? Even this graphic, this text here, as I come up, and it stays sticky and it reduces in size. So it's not just that this text moves away. It's like this stacked, layered, interesting little effect.
And this is a award-winning website, and I really like how they approach details here. So if you just go up, like the first screen that you didn't see, and you know this custom cursor, basically people just do this because they can, but actually it makes so much sense because this website is about, like, you know, keeping the ball, and this cursor, it reminds me of like tennis ball, right? And the next thing that you can see on top, on a hero, but a title, like bouncing ball, which makes you want to scroll down. So this bouncing ball is Elsa ball. So it's like, you know, engaging story. And then you go down and you can see like this rotation. Hence, this is beautiful animation. I really love this typography. And also, I really like how it scales. It also takes my huge screen, and I can really go deep into the story. So it's really engaging website. I love it.
Yeah, it's I mean, Jonathan is such a talented designer. He is an awards top ranked, you know, web developer, and we're lucky to have him in the Webflow world. But yeah, Kai, any other thoughts? What are you thinking about the site?
Well, yeah, I'd just like to agree with everything that's been said. You know, I always really look forward to seeing this guy's work. You know, everything he's put up over the last couple of years has been stunning. Yeah, I just really like his style. He's got his own style. You can kind of tell it's him, you know.
What makes
and that
this
helps it stand out to me?
What makes that?
It's always got a real smooth. It's always got a real smooth scrolling vibe with his style. Yeah, it's very impressive.
But what makes that, like, if somebody's watching and they're trying to think like, okay, I want to establish myself and my style, like what takeaway could somebody grab here? Obviously, look how, you know, clean it is. Again, with the custom images, and they spent some real time and money here with the visuals, right? So this is not just a website design. This goes to show that the content and like the work that has to happen, because the web is just a place to display this content. You know, it's like, hey, we got these beautiful images. The web becomes an interactive way for you to kind of like interact with those things, engage with that. But there's a lot more thought that went into this from a story and from a content standpoint than just what you know a lot of people think about when it comes to the web.
Yeah.
And
it's such a simple
really
thing.
Respect how.
Sorry, Joe.
I really respect how all of the animations are very simple. Every single interaction here in itself is very simple. There's nothing crazy going on that you're not sure how it's done. It's simple. But when you put all of them together, when you scroll through that homepage and all of these beautiful, really well thought out, simple animations come together, the whole page now looks like a highly animated site. But yet everything is really simple and nothing crazy. and that's a style. And
Yeah.
I think that that's what we see when we're looking at his work. That
Getting some interesting thoughts from the
very
crowd here.
cool.
So I want to read some of these comments from the audience. Solid 8 from me. Pete Blanchford is not a big fan of the scroll jacking, and so a lot of people don't like to getting stuck and having people taking over that scrolling behavior. Let's see. Intro animation's very long. Some people don't like the cursor thing. But Matt Connolly saying, I just want to keep scrolling up and down. Nice. So
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if I agree with this, where it says, I think the product is lost because of all the nice images and effects, just because I think the images are the product, you know? So I think like the images are showcasing the product kind of in use. And so it's supposed to blend in a little bit. I think it's a sports product. You don't really want to know you're wearing this thing. And so I think part of the whole story here is that it does blend in seamlessly. But all that being said, 5 minutes are up. We have done the critiquing. Let's go ahead and get the scoring open. Give me 1 second. Let me clear the crowd scores from this last vote. And let's see. Boom. Boom. Delete.
Nice
and we're going to get...
scores.
All right. Let's see it. 45 seconds is up. Let's do it.
Oh,
Okay. So once again, crowd, this is your time to chime in here on this website. If you liked it, leave your scores. If you didn't, you know, you can leave your scores on that too. So if you think the usability was impacted by this, if you thought the design was limited by the images, this is your chance to really take a look and see what's happening with that. Let's see, flare, getting some real high CPU usage. So if it's glitching out a little bit, I do apologize. Usability, I'm gonna ding it for that. Okay, so judges, we've got 15 seconds. Crowd, you've got 10 seconds here coming up to score the stellar skip grip. 3.
that's easy for you to say.
Yeah. Okay. Boom. All right. So let's keep the trend alive of going through and scoring from lowest to highest. So we'll push the scores out here. And Joe and Sergey are tied with an 8.0 here. So Joe and Sergey both scored it almost identically, reversing a couple of the 9s and 8s, but you got both to an 8. I jumped in with an 8.25, and Kai gave it an 8.5, and that brings us to a judge's average of 8.19, which is a pretty good score. And again, the crowd is right on it. So 8.44 from the crowd.
Wow.
So judge's average 8.19, the crowd scores 8.44 for a combined score of 8.24. Yeah, this is great. Voting is closed. Images is playing the major role for sure. Let's
Fair
see.
enough.
What is it?
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
score for this website.
Yeah, okay, great. So next up, we've got interbeauty-app.webflow.io. So let's share this in the comments. I'm going to share this next website in the comments here. I'm going to clear the scores from the last round, and let's get the 5 minutes on the clock. Does somebody want to walk us through this one here?
Yeah, I'll go first on
I'll
this
walk
one,
through it.
if that's
Oh.
okay.
Yeah,
Kai, go for it.
Kai, and then
Yeah.
we'll go to Joe.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's got a nice attention to detail, which I like. Just the subtle interactions, nice illustrations, nice pastel-y colors with a nice kind of noise texture on, which is a vibe I like for sure. And I really like the icons, the fonts, the colors, the color changes as you scroll down, the stickiness. Yeah, it's all very nice.
Yeah, Joe, what are you thinking here?
Well, there's so much I like about this, and there's one thing that's really bugging me. It feels like the entire body is set to opacity 0.7. I see everything almost faded. I really, really want to see this text black. That I'm loving these colors. I'm loving the style and the visual identity of the brand, but this gray text is just not giving enough contrast to me when we have this off-white background. So
Yeah.
that's my main comment here. I want to see this black text. I want more contrast here, and I think that would really make even the colors come out more and be more strong.
Yeah, it is a beautiful color scheme. These like pastel-y gradients with the soft pink, peachy. You know, it's it's a beautiful color combination, but I tend to agree. It leaves me a little like kind of faded out. Although I do think it's done. I mean, it's done cleanly and purposefully. So I don't know. I get what you're saying. I would like to see this a little darker, though. That's a good point. This little graphic here, it's so easy to just show chaos next to order. This is just like a really, for me, this kind of graphic is really useful. And it's just clean, simple.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, like it's not saying a lot, but it tells me quite a bit visually. And then this headlines are real nice and clean. This little effect is nice. Were there any other pages that we can explore? It's just a single page landing page here, huh? Sergey, any thoughts?
Yeah, it might be just first time when I don't really like 100% agree with Joe about the font color. Yeah, I think it's just in style. So it's just there, like, you know, so that's about beauty. And, you know, if you put like, you know, 2 black font here, it's going to be like 2 pop-up. But, you know, like the subtle gray, like, you know, chalk color, it looks really good here. Like, you know, it's really calm and the branding looks awesome. I do see some like huge distances after some of the like, you know, sections which can be smaller. Just like too much free space. Like I love free space. I love it. But, you know, sometimes it's just too much of it.
Well, and it doesn't match. So if we look here specifically on the screen, you know, you've got a big gap up top and it's not the same size gap here. So if we were being real critical, you know, like that would be perfectly centered between that gap. Same thing kind of here. You've got a little bit of different spacing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I could see some minor nitpicking on that for sure. Let's read some of these comments from the crowd real quick. Nice brand, really enjoying the subtle interactions. Grace is saying, Grace Walker, doesn't feel overwhelming, but special and detailed. Aditya is agreeing with Joe on the contrast. There's a bunch of people actually who are saying a little bit more on the contrast, but Grace is saying, disagree with Joe, the faded color palette is industry appropriate. So it could be talking to a more feminine touch. It could be talking to a different buyer. So I think, yeah, Pablo Cortez is saying the colors on purpose for sure. Let's see.
Yeah, we need to disagree with
that.
Joe.
And respect it.
I disagrry with Joe. Yeah, remember, you've got your
You must have
votes.
really good reason to disagree with Joe.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened, to be honest. Until now.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, it's like every time when Joe judge what I do, it's like always in point. Like he never said something which is wrong. Like, you know, I never, you know, like say something in argument.
That's because you
like,
never
he's
do anything wrong,
always
Sergey.
in point.
Joe does
I
have
do
good
a lot.
graphic
I
design.
do a lot.
Your work is too good.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and clear the crowd scores from the last score. Let's see, clear that. Okay, scoring is now open, and let's get 45 seconds on the clock, judges. Let's score this Interbeauty app. So take 45 seconds. Audience, this is your time to submit your votes. Go into your sheet there and submit that form. Let's see, I like that. Remember, we're looking for design, overall, the story itself, flair is going to be interaction, stickiness, and the usability. Okay, 10 seconds left on the clock, everybody. If you're in the crowd, be sure to get your scores in before that closes, or Rohan's going to shut down the deck on you and your score will not be counted. So, okay. All right. So scores are in, and let's stick. Oh, we do have a low ball here. Kai. Oh, my man scored
Hey,
the
that's not
Interbeauty
low
site a little rough. But I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't
don't
think
forget,
that's
we've been scoring quite high so far.
I know. We've been a little generous. Oh, this is probably a good time to remind everybody that these scores are completely arbitrary and we're just literally having fun here as we experiment with the format and what we're doing. At some point we may formalize this and create some real structured system, but yeah, this is just about hanging out, checking out these cool designs and, getting some audience feedback and having some fun. So let's see. The next highest score was Joe with a 7.0. Then Sergey and myself we're tied at a 7.5. Let's see, where did we diverge? I gave it a little bit higher score on usability. I think this site is super easy to use, super clean, super simple. But I kind of dinged it for flair. I thought it was a little, it's beautiful, it's subtle, but it doesn't have, a whole lot of that special pop for me. So anyway, judges average combined score 7.13. This is where we missed it with the crowd. The crowd loves this site a lot more than us. The crowd loves the site at an 8.42, which gives us a combined score of 7.38. And I think Kai, you might have been right. I think we maybe went a little harsh on this compared to the other two that we scored really nicely. Yeah. But this is the first one where the crowd disagrees. Let's see what the crowd is saying right now. Let's see. Nice brand, ditto on the contrast. Let's see. Okay, I'll lead the charge. Disagree with Joe. Grace Walker. Pixel Geek. All 10s from me. Okay, I'd be a bad for this program.
Wow.
Pixel Geek. Yeah, we decided we weren't going to do a lot of 10s because it's hard to go higher than a 10. So we're going to really hold the 10s for the stuff that just blows us away.
Yeah, think ice skating. Yeah, think ice skating. You very rarely get a 10. It's got to be something very special.
Yeah. Okay, so those were the 4 that we picked to design. The first one that came in from the crowd is this Pixel Fleek website. So we're going to share that, and we're going to do a review on this. So let's go ahead and put that in the comments. And if anybody would like their site reviewed, we still have a bit of time here. So we'll pull the scores on this. We'll get 5 minutes up on the clock. And who wants to drive on this website?
Well, it's definitely has contrast. And Joe, please.
Okay, I like the colorful illustration on first look. Seeing that kind of illustration right away, it's getting my attention, no matter what it says. So really nice getting of attention. Big text. I'm not as much of a fan of these types of auto icons. Pixel Fleek, I think you would do really well with a custom icon set on this. And loving the continuation of colors here. That this use of colors, I'm a huge fan of because it really grabs your attention. That this is making me excited with color. So I like that about it.
It does make me feel just a bit claustrophobic in here. I wish there was a little bit more air throughout some of these sections. I do really like the illustrations and these graphics, but I'm not loving how it comes into this shot here. I'm not sure if it's the website colors or if it's the illustration of the mock-up of the screen contrasting these bright colors, but something about this section doesn't really have the same kind of unity as the rest of the page. Joe, Sergey, Kai, any thoughts on this page here?
Yeah, I agree.
Just to follow on.
Illustrations are beautiful. The only one thing that they are not consistent over the site. You can see some illustrations in another style. So this is the one thing. And another one is the section that you showed with the laptop and some Webflow UI. I'm not sure if it's really makes sense for the client to see Webflow UI. How does it look here? So, and I'm 100% agree about distances. So it's it needs more spacing to see, clear structure. So spacing gives you the structure. If you don't have the proper spacing, you're losing the structure. You can't understand where you're going from the section to another section. And in some of the places, it's really tight.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's quite a beautiful site, but I think at some places it just needs a little bit of room to breathe.
And I think it's difficult to really see the spacing here because of all these curved sections. There's the breakup of section you can see the different color, but the intensity of these shapes really make things more spread out or feel really tight.
Yeah.
So the section breaks, I like the uniqueness of it, but I think they could be a little too intense to really get that unified spacing.
I think that might calm down if you spread them out, right? Like if we talked about, like if you aired the sections out a little bit, because I think what happens is like, this is really crowded, and then you get into this little mountain range kind of div here, and then again, you're crowded out with this other element. Whereas if there was like half a page of scroll or a quarter page of scroll in between there or something, and it was just a little bit more spaced out, it may be a little more, a little bit more palatable. But the colors are beautiful. It does kind of suck your eye, right? I keep wanting to be drawn in. Like these reds and oranges are very vibrant. I do agree with Joe about the icons. I think you could get a little more custom on the icons. Let's look at, is it just a one page or
and
what?
the illustration.
And also, like if he would put just a bit more love to typography, that will also improve the site. I am not feeling hierarchy in typography here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, I do see a little bit of here, although we get back into the big ones. But this I like. This here is very wide open, clear headline, nice little section, room to breathe, right? So we've got plenty of room to breathe here, some nice structure to the content. And then we get into some of this. I still think maybe a little bit more room here, but this is great. So it does, I mean, there's some time, there's a significant amount of time and effort that went into some of this. It's good. It's good. I just, I think it needs a little bit of, finesse. I think just a touch of finesse. Any final thoughts here as the clock winds down?
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how we should judge. For me, it's a bit question. And the reason is that we've seen those super beautiful, almost awards-winning websites. Should we now like kind of compare with, so this is definitely not like award-winning website, but should we then like compare it with others, or it's like, completely fresh?
Yeah, I don't think we need to compare it to anything specific. Yeah, let's see.
Each site is unique. It's designed for a certain reason. It's designed to get a certain type of client, and they're doing that design for that client. So if you look at their portfolio and look at their work, is this site designed for who is supposed to be accessing it?
Yeah. So let me read a couple of these comments from the crowd here. Let's see. Flair, wow factor, interactions, and overall stickiness factor. Too many colors, Pablo's Cortez. I could see that, but I do like some of the boldness. Grace Walker, I really like the scroll interactions on subtle movement through the site. Overall, the design is too overwhelming for our taste. Scale is huge. I'm craving more white space and breathing room. Yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement there that it's got potential. It's just a little too slammed together. A little claustrophobic comment coming in from Shataz. Yeah, so okay. Colleen, that's a good question. Who's the target audience? Individuals looking for a design firm? If so, showing all the code may not be compelling. So yeah, this goes into just kind of understanding the audience and whatever you want to speak to as an, as a message audience for your website design. So let me go ahead and clear these scores from the crowd. Boom, boom.
Hey, Kai, okay. I interrupted you. You was about to say something about it. Did you miss something?
Oh, that's okay, Sergey. No problem at all. Yeah, I just think, as everyone I think has mentioned, it just needs some more space. It needs a bit of breathing room.
Okay.
And I'd perhaps look at replacing that MacBook image.
Yeah.
That kind of lets it down a little bit for me. Maybe with an SVG with his own nice homepage as the image on the screen with that beautiful fish.
Yeah, just a little bit of style in there. It's like taking a raw screenshot and mixing it with those illustrations is a harsh contrast. So
it's like
anyway, now's the time.
It's like a funny
45
mix.
Seconds. Pull out your scorecard. Crowd, audience. Oh, let me make sure. Is the score open? Let's open up the scorecard to the public. So audience, refresh your page, and the voting is now open. Let's and we'll give it just an extra second because we were late for the audience scoring there. So go ahead and leave your scores for the Pixel Fleek website. Let's get this up.
And I'll say, Pixel Fleek, if you're going to make your next investment into your website, do it on those illustrations and icons. Go and get a custom icon set created for yourself. Go and get custom set of illustrations created for yourself. That's going to take this site to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yep. Great. Okay, scores are in, and wow, we're right on the money again. So let's start like we have from bottom to top. Joe comes in at a 5.25 on this website. Sergey's next in line with a 5.5 here, incrementally, slowly going up in quarter steps to 5 3/4 with Kai's score, and I hooked him up with a 6 on that, which brings the judges' average to 5.63, and we're back in line with the crowd here. So the crowd brings it in at a 5.34, and so we were just a little bit more generous to the crowd for a total combined score of 5.57, which is a respectable score for a basic site like this. You know, like this is, I think we probably set the bar pretty high with the first few sites that we brought in, and those 8s and 9s that we were giving, those are really beautiful sites. But this, not to say this one isn't, but you can just see a little bit of the difference in the refinement. And we're going to look at one more today, right? Let's see, did the crowd have any other thoughts? Can I submit a site to be reviewed? Sure, send it in the comments. Not promising we'll get to it today, but we will add it to the list if we do not get to it today. We do have one more site to review today, so let's go ahead and get to that. Charlie Maria, this one came in through Instagram, so let's put that up on the board here. Let's get the website loaded up onto the screen. Let's start the clock. And Sergey, this one came in off your Instagram post, so I'm going to let you drive this one.
Okay.
And let's start the 5-minute clock and pull the scores.
Go.
Well, what can I say? So we clearly see what this site is about. Like, this is about Charlie, and he's a web developer. And I don't know why should I talk to the guy. Like, I didn't see his work yet, but let's talk. Okay, fine. We scroll down. Portfolio and about us, like those sections are quite pure for the design. You know, I could say it's like minimalistic design, but I don't feel it. Like, you know, sometimes like when you see this like minimalistic website, it's in style, the typography is beautiful, you know, and like minimalistic items. But I can feel it here, like it's something missing. And in the portfolio, if you show only 2 works here and one is coming soon, it's not really promising. So for me, I would not probably contact this guy because this is like not that much proof that he is legit, but who knows, you know, like he is developer.
This is definitely like a V1 portfolio site for an aspiring developer, web designer. I do kind of like this little effect hover over the, you know, the mouse hover. I do like the C in Charlie being highlighted there. That gives me a little bit of personality. And so like at first glance, this hero section, I'm like, okay, I'm in, you know, like, let's see what Charlie's got to offer. And then I kind of come into this portfolio section. And like you were saying, Sergey, it's only one project and the coming soon. And the coming soon is like kind of the same image, just blurred out. And I agree with what you're saying about this minimalist design. This doesn't feel very balanced though, or kind of really spaced out. And then we get into the same thing here where it's like I almost have to scroll a full page to read the whole thing. I kind of want to be able to see this all in one shot here. And so I think this is like just a little unfinished here. Anybody else thoughts? This seems like just a first pass here.
Just about usability and user experience, please never put your navigation on the bottom right corner. So this is most unusable place on the desktop. On mobile, this is perfect place because your big finger is straight on this button. So it's really easy to use when it's on the right bottom corner. But on the desktop, this is really hard to see. So that should be on top. That should be somewhere, but this is like unusable place to have this. So please change it. So place it in a nice place. I know you want to be creative, but just find another place to be creative, not a navigation here.
Noticed that before, that there is a light mode. So I turned on the lights just now, and it does give me
Oh yeah, I didn't
texture
notice.
change there. So little props for that.
Yeah.
Kai, any thoughts here?
Nice.
Yeah,
So?
it just feels a little bit empty, I think. I'd perhaps look at some of the margins and paddings, line spacing. And then the About Us section. I mean, that could be larger, have more interest, maybe some icons.
Yeah. Okay. I think
feels
should we just score this
empty.
one? I'm not sure we need to spend a ton more time. There's not a whole lot more to look at here.
I'd like to say something.
Oh yeah, sorry, Joe.
Yeah, I would love to say something. Sure. So Charlie, it is obvious that you are a beginner, and I don't think you should try to hide that. I think you should be very forward with that. Having just one portfolio piece and really not a lot of content is more of a turn off than a turn on for your website. So what I recommend you doing is post some clonables on here, post some sample websites that you've built, just get something on here for me to work at, look at, understand, and give me a little bit more confidence in what you can do. Because right now I see one site and that's not enough for me to make a decision. So go ahead and put more work on this portfolio, even if it's not for clients.
That's great advice, Joe. We talk about that a lot on the Growth Podcast about like, hey, if you don't have the client work, show your practice work, pick a brand and redesign something, build something useful for the community. Go out to market with the best foot forward of whatever you can kind of put together here. So let's see what the crowd has to say on this just a bit. Let's see. Does not excite me enough. I would not want to work with this person. Yeah, that's a little rough. There's noise on the background. It's hard to tell on computer screen there. It's a little bit of noise. Magdalena, that's the move. I think this person should show off more to get clients. They need to kind of like flex that creative skill. It does look like there's some creative skill, when you see some of this assembled. So it's like there's something in there forming. And it's like, bring that out, push that out just a little bit further, push yourself on some of that. So let's get 45 seconds on the clock. Let's get the scoreboard open, Rohan, and let's go ahead and count it down. Let's get the scores in. So got 45 seconds again from the top to just go ahead and put those thoughts in there. We're looking for design scores, right? That's going to be the overall design, aesthetic, story itself. Flair is going to be interactions, and then the usability is just how easy is it to navigate the site. I'm gonna have to get okay, scores are coming in hot. Let's get rid of these. Okay, 15 seconds, count down, 10 seconds left for the audience to get your votes in. The judges' scores are in. And, okay. 3, 2, I'm gonna have to see what's going on with that video. I wonder if that's glitching out. Could you let me know in the audience, hey crowd, hey judges, was that video glitching out for you? The audio on that little countdown clock there, was that kind of glitching?
Yes.
Okay, so good to know that we're getting glitching on all ends. All right, so let's take a look. This was a rough one. Sergey, throwing it down. We'll start with Sergey at a 2.5.
Wow.
I was just a bit more generous at 3.75. Let's see. Joe comes in above that. Kai comes in actually just above that at 4.25. Joe comes in at 4.5. And so the judges were pretty tight on this with a judge's average of 3.75. The crowd comes in pretty close to that. So 3.48 from the crowd. So with a combined total score of a 3.7, which is, just lots of room to grow. I think one of the things Molly, my girlfriend, told me before the show that we should offer a redemption round. So if we get a site like this, and this is the perfect opportunity where, like, if we get a site like this, hey, Charlie, if you're out there watching and you want to spend some time on this, you want to take some of that feedback and you want to like resubmit this on a future show, we'd love to kind of do a redemption round and let you take a swing at sending this back to us and us getting like another look at your V2 or V3. We're pushing that to the next level. The goal here is really to deliver some thoughts and some advice for people to be able to take away and improve the context of the work they're doing. So let's see, David, Carl Design. Yeah, more emphasis on story could help too. I agree. The story was just a little weak there. So any other thoughts from the judges here? What are we thinking as we wrap up? Episode 1, we've got 6 sites reviewed. We're at about an hour. People are asking. Next show will be Thursday, so I think we'll do this again. This was great. We've had a nice crowd the whole time. What are your thoughts, judges? Let's take it from right to left. Joe, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is a really good opportunity for everybody. That this is going to be a learning hangout. Cool stuff going on in this show. I think this was great energy here. I'm really excited for next week.
Yeah, Kai?
A lot of potential here.
Yeah, I agree. It's really exciting. Obviously we're all in love with Webflow and what it can, give to us all with our creativity. So I just find it fascinating to look through different sites, and then also, be able to talk to them live with you guys, and occasionally maybe disagree. Even with Joe.
We'll have a whole show disagree with Joe.
Yeah, it's really good fun.
That's really the next show. We'll have to invite Grace Walker. Hey,
I love the redemption idea.
You can build,
Raymar.
Yep. Go ahead, Sergey.
Yeah, it's also fascinating that you can actually build those beautiful award-winning websites on a Webflow, right? So it was not possible some years ago. So you can build something like, you can be beginner, like the last site what we just reviewed, or you could be as beautiful as this church website. This is really awesome that you can build anything in Webflow.
Yeah.
No limitations.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the versatility, and I think that's what's so exciting about this whole platform is that it just puts this power. You would see these sites before, you would see these design sites, and you would think that has to be $100,000, project or maybe more, right? Or, like it took an agency, 10 people to build something like that. And now it's like, no, 1 or 2 people, a talented photographer, a talented videographer, a talented illustrator, whatever, you get a small little team and you can build these beautiful immersive websites. And I think this is what draws everyone to Webflow and why we're all so excited about this. If we can get a little bit more functionality on top of that, as far as like software and apps, which is, what's coming now inside of this no code space, man, it's off to the races. And so, yeah, I think this is what's exciting about all this. Kai, Joe, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I second all of that. And I mean, I've said this several times before. Webflow just gives us so much creative freedom. Being able to start from a blank page, not using a template. You can put whatever you want anywhere. You can rotate a div block. You can add interactions to it. We're only limited by our imaginations, and I think that's fantastic to have in what is essentially a web platform. It's just awesome.
Yeah, great. This is some great comments. Let me read a couple of these. They is asking, do you guys choose the first submissions or how do you pick the websites? We're still experimenting. We don't really know. We did pick the first few, and so we'll pick and review every week, and then we also got some submissions. So between now and next week, I'm sure we'll get a ton of other submissions, and so we'll kind of curate those. We'll always try to come with 3 or 4 really strong ones at the beginning of the show, and then we'll kind of open it up to the ones that come in from the crowd. But yeah, we're still experimenting with that. Let's see, Aditya saying, normally I would work while watching the growth podcast, but today I was glued to this. So that's great. Yeah, we love people watching the screen. Concurrent viewers.
That means we're boring on growth.
Yeah. Growth is
I
one.
need more
I didn't want to
excitement.
say.
I think this one had stuff to look at. The Growth podcast is more audio, you know, so you could like keep up with the Growth podcast just listening, whereas this one, to kind of be involved, you almost want to be looking at the designs as you're going through the site and stuff. And so that is probably fair point. Okay, so
Nice.
Rohan was asking, are we
I'd
hanging
like
out in co-work afterwards? And then what were we saying, Joe?
Yeah, I say we do hang out in co-work afterwards. But before we go, I'd like to give a thanks to the other 3 guests here, or the other 3 panelists. Rymar worked his ass off to get this show produced. Does everybody see what's going on here? We're voting live. We're taking live votes from the crowd. We are changing the view all the time. We have 4 people live streaming. This is next level shit. So big round of applause to Rymar.
Yeah.
We have Kai and Sergey. Both of them, their first live show. This is big. This is difficult. It took me a long time to be comfortable in video recorded. It took me several episodes of Growth to feel comfortable in a live environment. And these 2 just nailed it. First live show. Super proud of everybody here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And
thank you, Joe. Thank you for inviting. Thank you for having us here. So this is big pleasure to be with you. I never thought I'd gonna do it. Like, I was always watching only live shows that you do, and yeah. So thanks a lot for having me here.
Yeah, and the crowd.
Yeah.
We've had about 80 people. There's the whole show here. We've had.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't say that at the start. Yeah.
84 peak concurrent viewers with an average of like 75 the entire show. And so thank you all to showing up as well. I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. Peter Blanchford, my buddy Patrick. What's up, Patrick? Hanging with us. Amazing, talented photographer Penny. I appreciate you saying Rymar's brilliant. Jose Arce is in the house. That's the link to the co-work. So if anybody wants to join us, Corey Moen, what's up? Hello in the house. Susan McPhee, Aditya. Man, everybody's in the house today. So thanks so much, Junio Cesar. Who else? Tom Pigot. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us today. Ariel T, Pixel Geek. Come join us in the co-work space. We're going to shut down the stream, and we'll be in the co-work section in just a few minutes.